Hello there. I thought we'd do a little sharpening on diamond plates. This is an ultra sharp 300 grit diamond plate. I think that's the name of it. The writing wore off of the side. This is from sharpeningsupplies.com. I believe it is their brand. So if I'm wrong about that, it's something like ultra sharp, but I believe that's what this is called. It's a 300 grit diamond plate. Um, what I have here, this is an old Kmart knife from the 80s or the 90s. I believe it's like mid 80s. It's it says the brand they branded it with is Sharp. I have had this knife a long time. When I bought it, um, there was a buck knife out similar to this with the green, I don't know which rubberized, whatever you want to call that handle. Um, it's got a 440 stainless blade, probably 440A. It's made in Taiwan, but it's been a good hunting knife. And what I want to do now, this is a knife that I carry in a pack that I carry when I go out. I carry it about, or will be carrying it probably about half the time. There are places that I go where it just does not require that, but I prefer to have materials and gear with me when I go in certain places so that I know that if anything happens, I can get through it. This knife has a really sharp 90-degree spine on it. It would strike a ferro rod really well. I put it in that kit, which also has a fire kit that has a ferro rod in it. A couple of different types of ferro rods, actually. One is one of the SOL mag strikers, which is basically a block of magnesium, a big block of magnesium on a handle like you would have a ferro rod, and it has a small little ferro rod glued into the top of that, as well as a standard ferro rod. But anyway, what I want to do today is touch up this edge and make sure it's super sharp for that kit. So we're going to use soapy water. You don't have to use anything on a diamond plate if you don't want to, but I believe that this extends the life of the plate if you use some kind of lubricant. The other lubricant that I really like on a diamond plate is glass cleaner, not Windex, automotive glass cleaner. But anyway, and I chose this plate because honestly, this is like a small camp knife is what it's serving as. So I don't need any more refinement than this diamond plate. This 300 grit will do everything that I need a knife like this to do. It's going to be put through semi-hard use. It is not going to really benefit a whole lot from a really high grit polish, although I will run this over a chromium oxide pasted strop. Hope that everyone's doing well. My hand is recovering still. I still can't close it any more than that, but I'm able to do more sharpening and things of that nature, and so I'm enjoying it. Especially this knife has a nice fat handle to grab hold of, which is one of the reasons that I chose it. And just experience with the knife, I know that it will do what I need to do. You don't need a lot of people will spend big bucks on what they would call like a bushcraft knife. It's still got like a carbon or a stainless steel blade. Most people opt for carbon, and honestly, if I had a carbon, I've got a small wire, but I want it bigger. If I had a carbon blade, I would probably use that, but in the end, most of those knives are basically a Mora knife that somebody prettied up. They got a Scandi blade, it's carbon or it's stainless, and it's 4.5 inches in length, or 4.25 inches in length. It's just, that's what it is somebody built a really pretty Mora knife, but it's basically, that's all that it is. You don't really need anything. What you need, in my opinion, and this is with most knives, and it's why you see me use the kind of knives that I do. I don't need a super steel that supposedly holds an edge longer, but it actually, the edge, when you cut with a knife, will degrade really fast, and then you'll get what people refer to as a working edge, which is not anywhere near as sharp as it was when you first started cutting with it. With a knife that has really hard steel in it, you can find it harder to bring it back up to a fine level of sharp. Okay, I can take a knife like this that's got 440A. I'm pretty sure that's what's in it. It's a very soft steel. Most people call it junk. Most of the knife guys on the YouTube platform and everywhere else, the forums and all of that, the knife groups, oh, that's junk steel. Well, this junk steel, when I cut with it and it starts to go dull, I can take a chromium pasted strop, and run it across that 20 or 30 times. That takes 30 seconds max. And have a razor sharp shaving edge on this again to work with. And I can work constantly with a razor sharp knife, because when it starts to lose, I can go back to that strop, spend 30 seconds on a strop, and boom, I'm back to super sharp. And that's what I value in these knives. And you can, that's why I use them, because they're simple steels. Even this 440 is fairly simple. It's not 63 or 65 Rockwell. It's not a pain in the rear end to get it sharp again, unless I have a diamond plate or something like that, okay, which I'm not carrying in the woods. So that's my deal on that, and that's my philosophy. It's always been my philosophy, because it works. And the thing of it is, you just got to pick what works for you. In my case, this works for me, and I have never had a need in a knife that something with really simple steel won't do. That's beautiful. All right, I'm going to give her what for a little bit longer. I have a burr along all the way to the tip, but I'm going to give it a little bit more just to make sure I've got that thing absolutely perfect. The thing with the diamond plate that don't bother me, but the reason that I don't use them as much, first of all, I like a stone. But second of all, with a diamond plate, if you sharpen with diamond plates and you sharpen these simple steels like this, what you get is a really fat burr that sometimes can be really resistant to removing. So you sometimes have to work a little extra on a diamond plate to get that burr off and reach sharp. And that's where a strop can come in useful too, because a strop can help you get that burr off. Now, if you look at what I'm doing, I'm coming along this stone and I'm staying right up against this edge here for most of the way, and then I'm moving up. And why I'm doing that is if you sharpen like that, eventually after a while what's going to happen is the corner of this stone is going to dig in here and you're going to get a recurve in the blade. I have some blades that have a recurve in them that didn't come that way because I sharpened them. I've had them a really long time and I had to evolve as a sharpener to understand some things, and I sharpened like that, which is the advice everybody gives you when you first start sharpening, and created a recurve before I understood how to deal with that. All right. Yes, that's turned all the way. Okay, so now we're going to use very, very light touch, no pressure whatsoever. We're going to turn that burr off. You see how very careful I'm doing this? I don't want to put a whole lot of pressure on this blade because I don't want to keep creating a burr, and I don't want to put it on here haphazardly. I want it on here as perfect and exact as I can get it so that I keep a good angle and don't destroy all the work that I just did by being careless and not paying attention. What I'm going to do, okay, see, I can feel it cutting over here, but not over here, which means even though I can barely feel it, but I can if I look, I still have a burr on this side of the blade. So what I'm going to do, is I'm going to turn that burr over to this side. It shouldn't take long. There it is. Then I'm not putting any extra pressure on the blade. Still very light strokes, but what I'm looking for is, because the steel is so soft and these diamonds cut so well, the burr is more resistant. And so what I'm doing is I'm turning it a little bit, trying to flip that burr and make it move from one side to the other until it breaks off through friction. Just like if you were to bend a coat hanger in one specific spot, it would heat up and eventually it would break. That's what you're doing to. And there is, if I can get it off, there's another piece. Most of that burr I flipping lost it somehow. But I wanted to show it to you. But oh well. Okay, now that's sharper. That's cutting pretty nice, but we're gonna continue to sharpen this edge with light passes until I get every bit of that burr off and I get a super sharp blade. Yeah, darling, what do you need? I can move it all if you need it. I can move it all if you need it. What part of that did you miss? I don't know why, but I can't seem to get that burr. Beautiful. But we're still gonna, that's really nice. It's sharpening, it's shaving really nice. But I'm still gonna go a bit further because I know that this knife will sit in a pack for a while, and I want to make certain that when I need it, it's absolutely screaming sharp. Lovely. That's gorgeous. It's cutting like mad. Yeah, yeah, that works. And so what I'll do is I'll strop it. All right, I know that burr has worked off because I've seen it laying on top of the stone pieces of it, and this is shaving really nicely. So what I'm going to do now is basically put a final polish on this edge to just bump up the initial sharpness a bit. It'll make it sharper than what it was, but that base level of sharpness that you just saw where I am shaving hair, it'll lose the really super fine edge that this will help to put on it initially when I first start using it, but that other edge that's underneath it that's actually on this blade will hold a bit longer. And you can bring it back as long as you don't wait too flipping long when you're using the knife. Once you notice that it's trying to go, you're not getting the same kind of sharpness level out of it as you were before, you can go back to one of these if you carry one of these. And you should carry one of these if you're carrying a pack with a knife. If you're doing camping and hunting and bushcrafter and or survival or anything of the sort, you should carry a pasted strop like this. It can be smaller. The one that I carry, the one that I will carry, I'm not carrying one right now. I was carrying one that was a bit, that's flipping gorgeous. That was about half this size, but this wide. But the one that I will carry is this one. It's got no strop paste on it right now. But I mean, you could just carry one of these. It's just a piece of leather on a piece of wood. That's all that it is, and I have the fuzzy side up. But yeah, you could just carry one like this, or what I plan to do is actually I'm going to put a smooth side leather on this side and chromium oxide paste here and a smooth side leather here, and you know, that would be beautiful. You wouldn't have to I wouldn't need anything else. So all right, I don't have it, but I have this, and I could just some people like the fuzzy side. That's flipping gorgeous. Some people like the yeah, soft side. What I like is both. I like the smooth side. I think it works better to put a final kind of finish on the edge. So I will most likely put that, glue a piece of leather like that on the back here. Paste this side and keep that side nice and clean. And that'll be ideal, and I'll carry that in my pack. So, but that's been the sharpening. I would carry a small oil stone with me if I wanted to carry a stone. The thing with it is in when you're working with a knife, as long as you don't really damage the edge and you don't wait until this turns into a flipping butter knife, you can use just a strop, just a pasted strop. You don't even need that second side. I'm just going to do it because I like it and I've got it. But you could just use that right there, or this pasted, which is, I mean, this will fit in a kit a lot better. But anyway, and keep the knife going forever. But if you were to damage the edge, or the edge were to get rolled over, or it were to, man, that's sharp, or it were to get rounded over, you used it so much that it went completely dull kind of deal, you're going to need a stone to do what I just did and bring it back. Um, Hopefully, if this knife is ever employed, I'll be out of the woods a long time before I ever need to do that. But I will probably carry a small stone with me just in case. All right, enough of that. That's been the sharpening. Thanks for watching. I'll talk to you later.